What if I told you that you could eat the exact same foods, the exact same calories, and still lose more fat just by changing the time you eat them? No new diet, no extreme workouts, just better timing. New metabolism science now shows that when you eat may matter more than what you eat. And this one shift could finally explain why so many people struggle with weight loss despite doing everything right. For decades, we were taught that fat loss is simple. Calories in versus calories out. Eat less, move more, lose weight. And while calories do matter, scientists are now discovering something powerful. Your body doesn't process food the same way at all times of day. Your metabolism, hormones, digestion, insulin sensitivity, and fat-burning enzymes all rise and fall based on your internal body clock, known as your circadian rhythm. This means a meal eaten at 8 a.m. and the same meal eaten at 8 p.m. can have completely different effects on your body, your blood sugar, your hunger, and your fat storage. Let's imagine two people eating identical diets, same calories, same foods, same portions. But one eats most of their calories earlier in the day, while the other eats late at night. Studies now show the early eater is far more likely to burn fat, control hunger, improve insulin sensitivity, and lose weight, while the late eater is more likely to store fat, experience cravings, and struggle with energy, not because of willpower, not because of genetics, but because of biological timing. This isn't a theory anymore, it's measurable physiology. In the morning and early afternoon, your body is naturally primed to handle food. Insulin sensitivity is higher, meaning glucose enters your muscles instead of being stored as fat. Your digestive enzymes work faster. Your metabolism runs hotter. Your cells are more responsive to nutrients. But as the day progresses, especially after sunset, these systems slow down. Your body becomes less efficient at processing sugar and fat, and more likely to store energy rather than burn it. One major study compared people eating the same calories, but at different times. Those who ate earlier lost significantly more weight and body fat, had better blood sugar control, and felt less hunger even though their food intake was identical. Another study found that late-night eaters had higher insulin levels, poorer fat oxidation, and slower metabolism the next day. In simple terms, eating late dose tea just affects that meal. It changes how your body behaves for the next 24 hours. This happens because your body evolved to eat during daylight and fast during darkness. For most of human history, food came from hunting, gathering, and farming, all daytime activities. At night, the body switched into repair mode, fat-burning mode, and cellular cleanup mode. But modern life flipped this pattern. Bright lights, screens, late dinners, nighttime snacking, all confuse your biological clock and tell your body it's daytime when it's actually nighttime. The result: poor metabolism, insulin resistance, weight gain, inflammation, and disrupted fat loss. This mismatch between your internal clock and your eating schedule is now called circadian misalignment. And it's one of the strongest predictors of obesity, diabetes, and metabolic disease, even in people who eat healthy diets and exercise regularly. Shift workers are the most extreme example. Nurses, pilots, night guards, and factory workers who eat at night have much higher rates of obesity and diabetes, even when calories are controlled. But even staying up late and eating dinner at 10 p.m. creates a smaller version of the same problem. Now, here's the powerful part. You can reverse this simply by changing when you eat, not necessarily what you eat. This is where time-based eating, early time-restricted feeding, and circadian-lined nutrition come into play. These approaches don't focus on calorie counting or food elimination. Instead, they focus on syncing your meals with your body's natural metabolic rhythm. Let's talk about what actually happens inside your body when you eat earlier in the day. In the morning, cortisol naturally rises. Most people associate cortisol with stress. But in the morning, cortisol is actually beneficial. It helps mobilize energy, increase alertness, and improve fat burning. When you eat breakfast or your first meal in the morning, insulin works efficiently to shuttle nutrients into muscles instead of fat cells. This means carbs are more likely to be stored as glycogen for energy rather than fat for storage. Your gut motility is also faster earlier in the day. Food moves through your digestive system more efficiently, reducing bloating, reflux, and sluggish digestion. Your liver clears glucose more effectively. Your pancreas releases insulin more precisely. And your muscles are more insulin sensitive, meaning they soak up glucose and amino acids more readily. As the day goes on, these systems begin to slow. By evening, insulin sensitivity can drop by up to 30 to 50% compared to morning levels. This means the same meal now produces higher blood sugar spikes and higher insulin responses, which promotes fat storage and increases hunger later. This is one reason people who eat late often feel hungrier the next morning, crave sugar, and struggle with appetite control, even if they ate plenty the night before. And here is something most people don't realize: late eating doesn't just affect digestion. It disrupts sleep hormones, especially melatonin. When melatonin rises in the evening to prepare your body for sleep, insulin secretion drops. If you eat during this window, your body struggles to process glucose properly, leading to higher blood sugar, more fat storage, and increased oxidative stress inside cells. Over time, this contributes to insulin resistance, weight gain, and metabolic dysfunction. This is why people who stop eating earlier often notice dramatic changes: better sleep, fewer cravings, easier fat loss, and more stable energy, even without changing their diet quality. It's not magic, it's biology finally working in your favor. Now, let's look at real-world evidence. In one groundbreaking study, overweight participants were split into two groups. Both ate the same calories and foods. One group ate most of their calories at breakfast and lunch, while the other ate most of their calories at dinner. After 12 weeks, the early eaters lost significantly more weight, more belly fat, and showed better insulin sensitivity despite identical calorie intake. Even more interesting, the early eaters reported feeling fuller, having fewer cravings, and experiencing better energy throughout the day. Another study tested early time-restricted eating, where people ate all their meals between about 7 a.m. and 3 p.m., versus eating the same calories across a 12-hour window. The early group had lower insulin levels, better fat oxidation, reduced hunger hormones, and improved metabolic flexibility even without weight loss. This means their bodies became better at switching between burning carbs and burning fat, which is a key marker of metabolic health. And perhaps most fascinating of all, researchers discovered that your body burns more calories digesting food earlier in the day than later. This effect is called the thermic effect of food, and it can be up to 50% higher in the morning compared to night. That means the same meal literally burns more calories when eaten earlier, not because of movement or exercise, but because your metabolism is simply more active during daylight hours. You've probably heard people say a calorie is a calorie. And sure, chemically, that's true. But biologically, it's completely incomplete. See, your body isn't a simple calculator. It's a living, rhythmic system. And the timing of when you eat fundamentally changes how those calories behave inside you. Let's talk about hunger, because this is where timing becomes a fat loss superpower. Most people struggle with weight loss not because they don't know what to eat, but because they're always hungry, tired, stressed, and fighting cravings. Well, eating late at night makes all of this worse. When you eat late, leptin, the hormone that says I'm full, becomes less effective. Meanwhile, ghrelin, the hunger hormone, skyrockets the next day. This creates a vicious cycle of cravings, overeating, and energy crashes. But what if you could break that cycle? You can, by eating earlier. When you eat your meals earlier in the day, your blood sugar stays more stable. Insulin spikes are smaller. Your brain gets clearer satiety signals. This is why people who switch to earlier eating often say things like, "I didn't even try to eat less, I just wasn't hungry anymore." That's not willpower. That's hormonal alignment. This alignment also massively improves your sleep, which is another huge boost for fat loss. Better sleep means more growth hormone, better insulin sensitivity, and less of the stress hormone cortisol. And naturally, eating earlier helps you sleep better because your digestion isn't interfering with melatonin release. It's a powerful feedback loop. Better meal timing leads to better sleep, which leads to a better metabolism, which leads to easier fat loss. Now, let's be super clear. This is not about skipping meals, starving yourself, or doing some extreme fast. It's about shifting your calories to earlier in the day, not eliminating them. You can still eat 3 meals a day. You can still enjoy carbs. You can still eat real, delicious food. The goal is simply to eat when your body is primed to use that food for energy instead of storing it as fat. If you feel like you've tried everything calorie counting, low carb, intense workouts and nothing works, the problem might not be what you're eating, but when so. What does this actually look like in practice? Research consistently shows that eating earlier in the day and stopping all food at least 3 hours before bed gives you the biggest metabolic benefits. This doesn't mean you have to stop eating at 2 p.m. It just means shifting your largest meals to earlier and avoiding heavy dinners late at night. For most people, a great schedule would be having your first meal within an hour or two of waking up, making your largest meal around late morning or early afternoon, and finishing a light dinner by 6 or 7 p.m. But here's where it gets really fascinating. Eating earlier doesn't just change how your body handles food, it actually changes how your genes express themselves. Thousands of genes involved in your metabolism, inflammation, and fat storage follow a daily rhythm. When you eat at the wrong times, you mess up these genes. But when you eat at the right time, they function properly. You're literally changing your biology at a molecular level just with timing. This is why time-based eating improves health markers like blood sugar, triglycerides, and blood pressure, even without weight loss. Fat loss becomes easier not because you're forcing your body, but because you're finally working with it. Think about it. Ever wonder why eating late makes you feel heavy, sluggish, and bloated the next morning? Now you know. Ever notice that you lost a little weight without trying during a time when you just happened to be eating earlier? Now you know why. Your body was simply doing what it evolved to do. This isn't a hack or a trend. This is biology. Thanks for watching. If this helped you see food and fat loss in a new light, hit that like button and subscribe for more science-backed tips. See you in the next one. Hey everyone, let's talk about something that can completely change your health journey. What if I told you the secret to a better metabolism wasn't about starving yourself or following some super strict, complicated diet? What if it's much simpler? The most powerful part. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need military-grade schedules or extreme fasting. Just shifting your meals 1 or 2 hours earlier can create real, meaningful metabolic benefits. Just stopping that late-night snacking can improve your insulin sensitivity and boost fat burning in just a few days. Even making lunch your biggest meal instead of dinner can rebalance your hunger hormones and energy levels within a couple of weeks. These are small timing shifts that have a massive metabolic impact. Now, let's get practical. Knowing the science is great, but knowing how to use it in your real life is what actually changes your body. The first and most important change is to move more of your calories to earlier in the day. This doesn't mean you have to force down a huge breakfast if you're not hungry. It just means your first meal should be nourishing, protein-rich, and balanced, not skipped or rushed. Starting your day with protein is a game changer. It stabilizes your blood sugar, which crushes those intense cravings you get later in the day. It also increases fat burning through something called the thermic effect of food. Basically, your body uses more energy to digest protein compared to carbs or fats, so you're burning more calories just by eating it. Think about it. When people skip breakfast and save all their calories for the evening, they often feel ravenous by dinner time. This leads to overeating, making poor food choices, and sending their blood sugar on a route. But when you have protein earlier, your appetite hormones chill out. You feel more in control, and hunger becomes predictable instead of chaotic. A strong first meal could be eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or even a simple protein smoothie. You don't need perfection, you just need consistency. Now, let's talk about lunch, because this is where we can really accelerate fat loss. Multiple studies show that making lunch your largest meal of the day leads to greater fat loss, better insulin sensitivity, and more stable energy compared to making dinner the main event. At midday, your body is still in its metabolic prime. Your digestion is strong, and you're usually more active. This makes lunchtime the perfect opportunity to eat your carbohydrates, not avoid them. Carbs, eaten earlier in the day, are much more likely to be burned for energy instead of being stored as fat. So things like rice, potatoes, fruit, and whole grains work best at breakfast and lunch. When you eat a big, carb-heavy meal at night, your blood sugar spikes higher and fat storage is more likely. But eaten earlier, those same carbs fuel your body, stabilize your mood, and support a healthy metabolism. So, the optimal day for fat loss really starts with a protein-rich breakfast. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips to transform your health. A balanced, satisfying lunch, your largest meal light. Early dinner focused on protein, vegetables, and healthy fats. Now let's talk about dinner, because this is where most metabolic damage happens. Late dinners are one of the strongest predictors of weight gain, insulin resistance, poor sleep, reflux, bloating, and fat storage independent of calories. This isn't about the food itself. It's about timing. At night, your insulin sensitivity is lowest. Melatonin rises. Digestion slows. Fat oxidation decreases, and calorie burning efficiency drops. Eating heavy meals late sends conflicting signals to your body. Sleep hormones say rest and repair, while food signals say digest and process. The result is poor glucose control, fat storage, sleep disruption, and next-day hunger. That's why people who eat late often wake up tired, hungry, and craving sugar, even after eating a large dinner. The solution is not skipping dinner, it's lightening it and moving it earlier. An ideal dinner for fat loss is high in protein, low in refined carbs, moderate in fats, finished 3 hours before sleep. This allows insulin to return to baseline, melatonin to rise naturally, and fat-burning pathways to activate overnight. It also improves growth hormone release during sleep, one of the most powerful fat-burning hormones in the body. And this brings us to one of the most important concepts in modern metabolism science: metabolic flexibility. Metabolic flexibility is your body. ability to switch smoothly between burning carbs and burning fat depending on availability and demand. A flexible metabolism burns carbs when you eat them and burns fat when you refasting or sleeping. An inflexible metabolism struggles to burn fat, craves sugar, stores energy easily, and experiences energy crashes. Early eating improves metabolic flexibility by reducing nighttime increasing fat oxidation during sleep, improving mitochondrial efficiency, stabilizing blood sugar during the day. This is why people who shift meals earlier often say they wake up leaner, feel lighter, experience fewer cravings, and have more stable energy even before the scale changes. Their metabolism is simply working better. Now, let's talk about intermittent fasting, because this is where timing conversations often get confusing. Intermittent fasting itself isn't magic. What matters is when the fasting window occurs. Most people skip breakfast and eat late dinners, creating a late eating window. Does when you eat really matter for losing fat? You've probably heard it all. Don't eat after 6 p.m. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Eat small meals frequently. But what does the science actually say? Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of meal timing and uncover how you can schedule your meals to maximize fat loss, boost your energy, and feel your absolute best. And stick around, because I'll be sharing a full day's worth of simple, delicious meal ideas that fit perfectly into this fat-burning schedule. You won't want to miss this. First, let's bust a huge myth. A calorie is not just a calorie, especially when we talk about timing. While your total daily calorie intake is king for weight loss, when you consume those calories can significantly influence your body's ability to burn fat versus store it. This is all thanks to something called our circadian rhythm, our body's internal 24-hour clock. This clock regulates everything from our sleep-wake cycle to our metabolism. Here is the key. Our bodies are primed to process food more efficiently during the day when we're reactive, and less efficiently at night when we're supposed to be resting. When we eat out of sync with this natural rhythm, say by having a huge meal right before bed, our body is more likely to store those calories as fat. So, how do we work with our body's clock, not against it? The concept is called chrononutrition. It's about aligning your eating patterns with your circadian rhythm. One popular and effective way to do this is through time-restricted eating, which is a form of intermittent fasting. This doesn't mean starving yourself. It simply means condensing your eating into a specific window each day, usually 8 to 10 hours. For example, you might eat all your meals between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. This gives your body a longer period, about 14 to 16 hours, to rest, repair, and most importantly, switch from burning glucose for fuel to burning stored body fat. Studies have shown this approach can improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and accelerate fat loss, even without changing what you eat. Let's start with the first meal of the day, breakfast. Whether you have it at 7 a.m. or 11 a.m., what matters is breaking your fast with the right nutrients. Your goal should be a meal rich in protein and healthy fats. Why? Protein keeps you feeling full and satisfied, preventing those mid-morning cravings for sugary snacks. It also requires more energy to digest, a process called the thermic effect of food, giving your metabolism a little boost. Healthy fats provide sustained energy and support hormone production. A great example would be scrambled eggs with avocado and a side of spinach. Or if you're on the go, a high-quality protein shake with a spoon of almond butter is a fantastic choice. What you want to avoid is starting your day with a carb-heavy, sugary meal like a donut or a sugary cereal. This spikes your blood sugar, leading to an energy crash and more cravings later on. Now, let's talk about lunch, your midday refuel. This is typically when your metabolism is at its peak, so it's a great time to have your largest and most balanced meal of the day. You want a good mix of lean protein, complex carbohydrates, and plenty of vegetables. The protein continues to keep you full. The complex carbs like quinoa, brown rice, or sweet potatoes will replenish your energy stores, and the veggies provide essential fiber, vitamins, and minerals. A perfect lunch could be a large salad with grilled chicken or chickpeas, loaded with colorful vegetables and a light vinaigrette dressing, or maybe a piece of baked salmon with a side of roasted sweet potatoes and broccoli. This combination will give you the steady energy you need to power through your afternoon without that dreaded post-lunch slump. As evening approaches, our metabolism naturally starts to slow down in preparation for sleep. This is where a lighter dinner comes into play. You don't need to skip dinner, but you should aim to make it smaller and easier to digest than your lunch. Focus again on lean protein and non-starchy vegetables. A great dinner option would be a grilled fish fillet with steamed asparagus, or a hearty vegetable soup with some lentils or beans. The key is to avoid heavy, starchy carbs and large, fatty meals late at night. Eating a huge pasta dinner or a greasy pizza and then heading to bed can disrupt your sleep quality and encourages your body to store that energy as fat. Try to finish your last meal at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. This gives your digestive system time to do its job, allowing your body to focus on rest and recovery overnight. So, let's put it all together into a sample day. Imagine you're following an 8-hour eating window from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. You'd break your fast at 11 a.m. with 3 scrambled eggs, half an avocado, and a handful of spinach. This high-protein, high-fat meal will keep you full for hours. Around 2 p.m., you'd have your main meal, a big bowl of quinoa with grilled chicken breast, black beans, corn, bell peppers, and a lime cilantro dressing. This is your energy powerhouse for the day. Then, around 6:30 p.m., you'd have your final meal, a lighter one, a piece of baked cod with a large side of roasted Brussels sprouts and a squeeze of lemon. You finish eating by 7 p.m. and you don't eat again until 11 a.m. the next day. This schedule aligns perfectly with your body's natural rhythm, optimizes fat burning, and keeps your energy levels stable. Of course, this is just a template. The perfect eating window is the one that fits your lifestyle. If you're an early riser, maybe an 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. window works better for you. The principle remains the same. Give your body a consistent daily fasting period. And remember, consistency is key. Your body loves routine. Sticking to a regular eating schedule helps regulate your hunger hormones, like ghrelin and leptin, making it easier to manage your appetite and avoid overeating. It's not about being perfect every single day, but about creating a sustainable pattern that works for you in the long run. Beyond just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, what about snacks? If you feel hungry between meals, it's a sign you might need to increase the protein or healthy fats in your main meals. But if you do need a snack, choose wisely. Opt for something small, protein-rich and low in sugar. A handful of almonds, a Greek yogurt, or some celery sticks with hummus are all great choices. These won't spike your blood sugar and will keep you on track with your fat loss goals. The goal is to eat intentionally, not mindlessly. Before you grab a snack, ask yourself, am I truly hungry, or am I just bored, stressed, or thirsty? Sometimes a big glass of water is all you really need. To recap, timing your meals can be a powerful tool for fat loss. By aligning your eating with your body's circadian rhythm, you can enhance your metabolism and encourage your body to burn fat for fuel. Front-load your calories, making breakfast and lunch your main meals, and keep dinner light. Prioritize protein and healthy fats to stay full and energized. And consider adopting a time-restricted eating window that fits your life. It's not about restriction, it's about optimization. It's about working with your body to achieve your health and fitness goals more efficiently. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found these tips helpful and are excited to try them out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more science-backed health and nutrition advice. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What is your biggest challenge when it comes to meal timing? Let's chat about it. Until next time, stay healthy and stay curious.